Thanks again for rejoining us on the program TMI Monday with yours sincerely. Okay, restructuring is the major focus of our discussion against the underlying factor of ethnic agitation, which is most pronounced in the southeast of Nigeria. And of course, there's been various opinions about it. And someone has said, like I read on the papers this morning, that restructuring has different meaning. But others have said restructuring has one meaning and one meaning alone. Today on the show, I have with us in the studio Pastor Collins. For Pastor Collins, many thanks for joining us.
My pleasure to be here.
Well, it's been a while.
Yeah, I've been around.
Okay. I also have with us in the studio a civil society activist, Comrade Harrison Izeko. Many thanks for joining us. We're hoping that Comrade Morrissey Oguobuovia will join us on time for this discussion. But basically, this whole agitations for restructuring has taken a different dimension. And some have said, well, it's always been part of the country, as it were, even right from independence all through down till today. But we have never seen it in this dimension until now. Is there anything you probably want to ascribe this level of agitation to? Pastor Collins, let me begin with you.
Okay, I would agree that we've had this debate for such a long time. As a matter of fact, that's the reason why the last president initiated the confab that drew people from across Nigeria. And they made some very resounding resolutions which we thought the last president would implement. If he had, it would have helped Nigeria a lot. But however, I think he did not, because there was no time for him. He thought he would have a second term, and I believe that if he had had the second term, then he would have implemented the resolutions of the confab. But unfortunately, he did not win. And then in came our present leader. From the word go, he started on the wrong premise. He went to New York or to CNN and told them that Nigerians should not expect that he would treat the 95% who voted for him as well as the 5% who did not vote for him. And that just set up, a whole wrong vista for the whole country. Because first and foremost, the people of the South were the 5% who did not vote for him. And here is the same people from whom you derive the resources with which you want to develop the 95%. That is in the North. So what are we talking about? So you want to take my resources and develop your people, and then you leave me stagnated. So of course that increased the agitation. All right, let people control what they produce. All right, this has always been there. But if you find a president who comes and says, you know what, I'm the father of the country, I will develop the whole country at the same pace, then of course these agitations will subside. You would notice that during Jonathan, there was not much of the agitations as much as you can see them now. All right, and when you have a president who, both in his body language and in his speech and in every way whatsoever, he has shown to people that he is the president of the segment of the country, then of course these agitations will continue to amplify, and that's what we have now.
Okay, Harrison, yeah, you want to build on that?
Well, I want to say very clearly that what we are seeing today have been part of democracy. Since 1999, that Obasanjo took over power, the Niger Delta issue came up, and we saw what happened. He addressed the issue squarely. As a former military head of state, he entered the region, and he was able to put peace in that place to some extent. And when Yar'Adua took over from him, the amnesty program was organized. And at that level, this issue of Boko Haram said have started skeletal works over there. And he tried to balance the equation. I think that what we are seeing today, you see, by next year, we are working towards election year. And when election is coming like this, some ethnic group want to make noise, they want to be recognized. They feel that if they feel that they have been marginalized, they want to come aboard to say that we are here. And the most recent one is this APOR group, which have been proscribed. So a few days ago, the military have said is a terrorist group. And the way and manner the leader is going about it is also called for question. He's not prepared for the fight and he cannot even defend the fight. And the Igbo feel that they are marginalized and the only way they can cry out is to create problems. There are some other persons who are beneath, who are supporting the money, they are not coming out to say that this is what is on ground. So I think the issue here is not the issue of the present administration, it's not the issue of the president. It's the issue of the country where you have about 500 ethnic groups. You should expect things like this. Everybody wants to get their own. We have 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria. And the structure, the black character is there. The people we feel right now that are not even getting fair share at the federal level in terms of leadership is our people from the east. The reason is that because even till tomorrow, our people from the east cannot be united. An average Igbo man feel if it's not me, let it scatter. Go to history. And whatever they are doing right now, they are not able together. If the governors are saying no, we are not in support of what you are doing, then there will be issues. So the issue is not to blame a segment or the president administration. The man who gathered people together in the name of Kofa had over 1 year to look at the document. He didn't look at the document. That shows he was not even interested. He just wanted to bring them together to get situation and let some of them get from the national cake. And when they left, the document was not even looked at. So the person that is coming in will also take time to see what is on ground there. What we think is the issue right now is that Nigerians as a people, we need to be patriotic. If we are true Nigerians, let us do what is right. He said, who come to Kuti must come with players. Owner the Kano have no business to fight. If you know what, if you go to history, what happened during the Civil War? I know that he's a young boy. I was listening to a military man who fought in the Civil War. He said he was part of it. And if you are there, you never think of beating the word of drum. So it's a selfish fight in as far as I'm concerned. It's a segment, and I feel that some one group of people cannot hold Nigeria on stage. Every responsible government will not allow that to happen. You cannot have a country inside a country. You cannot have a republic inside a republic. It is not possible. It's not done anyway. For a segment to just hold the country, you said you are fighting a cause, you are carrying arms, you are so violent, you are flagging up your flag inside a nation, it's not done anyway. So the action of the present administration is the best thing that can happen. And I'm happy that even the Igbo leaders in the power to say, no, if you have issues, write it down and let us run with it. And I believe that all this question we are seeing is just towards 2019. Where will the presidency be zoned to? Okay. If it continue, if it's not going to continue, who will be the next two? Okay. Where will it go to? The East is 17 years. We have not been given the opportunity to also come out as a presidency or vice president. Yeah. This is the best time for us to agitate or come in any form to make sure at the end of the day we are recognized. I think that when the election is very close, we'll gradually know where we are going to.
Okay. Pastor Collins, is this just a political agitation, as it were?
Certainly not. Certainly not. I'm in total disagreement with what my friend here has said. I mean, take a look at the various segments of the country. Let's start with the southeast, where this agitation is more pronounced. Can you imagine? I mean, the southeast has not produced any person, as further than the secretary to the state government, to the federal government since 1999. Even right now, look at the structure of the armed forces. You will not find any prominent southeast person.
But they've had a chief of staff, chief of army staff, as in the person of Jerika.
We are talking about the present structure.
Yes.
We're talking about the present structure. And there seems to be a determined effort to decimate the southeast. Well, I'm not from the southeast, but I have sympathy for them. I don't believe in what Kanu is doing. All right, I think the young man is just being, overexcited. All right, and is taking wrong steps. But if we face the issues practically, you'll find that the southeast do have issues that the federal government needs to address. For the fact that go to the southeast, they're going to find trees growing on major roads. They are abandoned. There are unfortunately, the governors of the southeast, with all due respect to them, it's like what I think he was referring to, the Igbo man being someone who wants to cater for himself and himself alone. You cannot see, you cannot even see any of the governors of the Southeast agitating. Why? How come we don't have any person in the hierarchy of the armed forces? How come we don't have any person in the one prominent person as in the government of the federation? The Southeast has been marginalized. Then come to the South. The government made a show when they came in of cleaning the oil spill. What has happened since then? 2 years down the line, and this is where the resources that are used to maintain this country is derived from, and we have abandoned the place. Look at the East-West Road. Then somebody will say, "Why did Jonathan not do it?" I don't care why Jonathan didn't do it, but there's a government in place now, and this is the road that leads to the whole of the South. It's abandoned. They were going to build a maritime university. It had been approved. This government came in and abolished it. The maritime university based in the South. And then you think that these people will not begin to agitate? And then you are proscribing IPOB and you are calling it a terrorist organization. In what way does IPOB qualify to be called a terrorist organization? Have they killed anybody? Have they carried arms? It's just agitation. Does agitation become a secessionist act? What about the people in the herdsmen? Why have they not been described as terrorists? Yet, Kaduna State government has been negotiating with them and even giving them compensation. And you are calling people who just because of their statements, you are calling them terrorists. Why would they not agitate? This is the problem we have in the country. There is a need to restructure. Let everybody stay on his own. And then we can submit something little to the federal government. But let us be our own people. This is what is necessary in this country. I'm sorry to say this. The present government is largely responsible for the heightening of these agitations, as I said before. Because when you come out and show clearly that you are more interested in one segment of the country, and you are doing it so brazenly, you are doing it without apology, then the other people will say, come on now, what are we? Are we second-rate citizens, second-class citizens? We are going to fight to ensure. It's not about politics. It's not about 2019. It's about the fact that we have found that some people take us to be second-class citizens, that there are some people that are better than us. And we must agitate and say, no, we can't have that. And that's what's going on right now. So let's not relegate this and call it a political move. It's not. Okay. It is not at all. It's a genuine reaction to what the present government is unleashing upon the people.
Okay. Quickly, as we begin to call it a wrap on this segment of the discussion, some have said IPOB is calling for a succession to succeed from Nigeria, but that is not what the country really needs now. What the country needs now is to restructure. And I remember that there's been a campaign on now that the ruling party wants to get people's feelings, opinions about restructuring. So what does that tell you, in your opinion?
Well, when there is agitation, people are clamoring for a certain thing. Every responsible government needs to listen and see what they are actually asking for. For IPOB, as far as I'm concerned, is an exercise of futility. There is no roadmap for whatever they are doing. Because before you raise an agitation, not only the republic, your own nation, whatever, you need to sit down, have a foundation. Who is going to join me? Is it just the 5 states from the east? Is the south joining them? Those who need to be put. If you never don't have those things, they are just wasting their time there. And to come back to, you see, we have lived in a nation that everybody have opportunity. My guy raised the issue of the South. I beg to be different. I don't ask us a second question. Presidents, Obasanjo as the president of this country, when he finished his tenure, he handed over to the north. And he picked somebody from South to become the vice president. And thereafter, with God, as God will have it, something happened and he became the president of this country. And thereafter, he contested again and became the president of Nigeria. And with the South, are we saying we are marginalized? Are we saying we are not getting our own fare from from the federal character of the shade of the presidency, what do we have to share? What do we have to show for the 6 years of being in charge of this country? Do we need to blame somebody who feel that my people should come first? Or let me take something home. Yeah, so a few days ago I was trying to travel through Ekoma. And people were quality collaborating, there is no road. And I asked myself a question. Who is the immediate past minister for works? So you get into power. You cannot do road moving to your house. Is it me? Is it the mafia you know that will come and do it for you?
So is the Ekmoma people not part of Nigeria?
Part of Nigeria.
They're not part of the country. It's not part of the government.
See,
Yeah.
Many times when we come on air, we want to castigate people. We want to think of these people, they are not doing well, or they are pushing it to one side. When you have the opportunity, I think that whatever he is now, he should be asking himself the question, what did I do? For 4 good years, you could not fix the community to your village. President Jonathan, he could not fix the issue of his own country, his own hometown. And now you are not saying that this man is marginalizing you, is going one side, he's doing this, he's doing that. My brother, you have the opportunity. We are not saying that as a nation there should be segment. And the president, as far as I'm concerned, is not being segmented. He's not considered a segment of this nation. It's unfortunate. In the military hierarchy, you don't just say because you're from the east, you must hold a prominent position. It is by your position promotion comes. So we cannot use that to judge. That because most people from the north are holding so prominent position in the military, that is why the east and that's have been moderated. No, it's not true. It is because it's based on who is on ground. And if you are a superior officer, because I'm from the north, and I'm supposed to let person, you not say no, let us go, God, let us get something from this state. You are not being fair to that person. What I'm saying is that Nigeria should be patriotic. Yes, there are issues in this nation right now. Because why? Where we are getting our national cake from. The oil who have been the breath of the nation, where the money comes from, is gradually going into extinction. The money is not coming, the gradually this and the cost for extinction is here and there. We need to seek out whatever we are getting, let us share equally. And the 2019, let the different geopoliticals will sit down and say, okay, if at this time the East feel that they are marginalized, which I agree with, in terms of presidency, at least they control 5 states. If we are saying, okay, let the vice president come from this place, the major political parties in the country have done nothing. Not even the other party have actually picked somebody from the East to become president. Because when they are not, people will need to vote for him. Now that the APC have also done the same. Maybe because the two political parties are afraid of those people. Because they don't know what will be the fate of this nation if they are given the opportunity to be the head of this country. Because you know, if they can be doing this now, if you can begin to fight for a republic inside a nation, then if you have the opportunity to be in charge of the country, then you can decide to do undo. So the leaders of this country are watching these people. They are not, they still feel that these people, they are not sincere enough. They still want to do something that might cause problem to this nation, and they will not give them the opportunity. So mind you, Nigeria as a nation is a big nation. I see this country, we cannot disintegrate. That is the major truth. If the APC government feel they want to bring them together, let them discuss what is the issue. If they discuss the issue, I feel that not just discussing, let those issues be implemented. We have had several confirmed in this country, but it's not implemented. You just talk and leave, and the document is there. And you want somebody who are not part of that discussion to come and implement it and that document. It is not work, let's just deceive ourselves. Okay. If you don't implement it, because it was not part of it.
Okay. All right, Pastor Collins, yeah, he raised a very fundamental issue which has to do with some of the complaints, you know, that we've heard in recent times, talking about complaints of roads. Well, he had instances, certain people were in government and all of that. I know that governance is a continuum. The new government takes on the responsibility, the assets and liabilities of the previous time. So I don't know what you make of it.
I usually get a bit, upset when I hear people talk about what did the last minister do? Why did he not tar the road to his village? It's lame, because this is a federation. This is a federation, all right? Whether the minister comes from Edo State or comes from Anambra State, they have to factor in the different roads and their importance to national development. The Abuja Benin highway is a major highway that links all the states of the south to the north. And it is neglected because they say the last minister did not fix it. Does that make sense? It's a road that leads from the south to the north. And someone is saying that, why did the last minister not fix it? Now, this is also one of the reasons why the agitation for restructuring is heightening. All right? So let everybody come back to his own. So I fixed the roads in my locality. I fixed my roads. Yes, I fixed my roads. I built my infrastructure. I built my infrastructure. I know who my leaders are. I put them there and I hold them accountable. I don't have to be looking to Abuja to fix my road, the road in my village. And then the man doesn't even know where my village is on the map of Nigeria. So which year will that road ever, which century will that road ever be fixed when I'm looking at Abuja? That's why people are saying, you know what, let's restructure. Let's come back home. I put Sonny Duke there, I know where he comes from, I know what he will do. All right, that's why this agitation for restructuring is heightening, and it is legitimate. Let nobody quarrel with it. Let nobody begin to look at somebody who is agitating for restructuring as a rebel. No, he's not. We are talking about how to make the nation develop. One of the reasons why we're having this problem is some regions are developing at a slow pace. Others want to develop at a fast pace. Now you want to hold down the people who want to develop at a fast pace to, meet up with the ones that want to develop at a slow pace. And this has been the problem. This has been the problem. And it has run through all facets of our economy and our nation's development. And it's affected us. This is one of the reasons also why we're saying, you know what, let's all come back to our own regions, old regions. Let's come back. And we know who is who. We know our people. All right? Let's control our resources and develop. This issue of this oil revenue has brought indolence and laziness to the people of this country. Nigerians ought to be a very resourceful people. Nigerians are a very industrious people. All right? Before oil was found, we had all manner of commodities that Nigeria ran on. All right? But now, since oil was found, and thank God, as you mentioned just now, the thing is running out. All right? In 2025, France has said that they are not going to have any cars running on fuel anymore on the streets of France. All right? And so many other countries are towing the same line. So very soon this oil will become useless. All right? And therefore, we even right now want to begin to look at other sources of revenue. This is the appropriate time for us to restructure. All right? Let the regions develop at their own pace. Develop at the pace they want to develop. And whoever wants to be slow, let them be slow. Who wants to be fast, let them be fast. This is what happens in America. This is why America is a great nation. You don't come and slow me down because you are not fast enough. And this is what we are saying, that let the regions develop at their own pace. Nobody should prevent them. So anybody who's agitating for restructuring right now is a patriot. He's actually thinking of the progress and prosperity of Nigeria. That's the truth. We are not unpatriotic. The people who are agitating for restructuring are not unpatriotic. And we are not talking about dividing the country. We're not talking about secession. We are talking about allowing every segment of the country develop at their own pace. Okay. All right, and this is the point that is being made. Okay. And people should accept it.
Okay. Just to ask you see, you are defending the restructuring right now. From your own perspective, what you are saying now makes sense. We are in the same direction. But the people who are at the center of this agitation, what are they saying? Is the appropriate talking about what you are saying now? No. They are fighting for the whole republic. That's why we are saying it will not work. That's what you see, I used to tell me when I was small. They said, hey, you see, charity begins at home. Religion is not the issue. It is the people, the mindset. If we have our people in government, they have opportunity of fixing our even without them spending their money. They refuse to do it. When we become religious, the same people. They will not do anything because they believe they are so self-centered, their family, and them alone. Minister of Wars do not need to. Everything is on the table. You decide the role that you will do.
No, that's not true. It goes to the Federal Executive Council.
He replace it as the second minister. When Chief Tony Elena was the Minister of Works in Nigeria, we got bypass. The man replaced it and brought bypass to Edo State. And today, you can cut across Edo State.
So the bypass is down. Have you been there recently?
No,
we've been there recently.
For almost 8 or 9 years.
Yes, it's down.
They need to work on it.
Yes.
But I'm giving you credit because the president. They have the right to do and do. If one minister of petroleum can carry out the money in this country and nothing happens, you have the right to fix the road in your place. I want people to go to his village today. And if the people will not applaud you, that in less than 2 years, you will not power, there's no road to your village. And you want to come and tell me that a local should come and fix the road. Be waiting. You think they don't know what they are doing? That is the system of Nigeria. It's our democracy here. Look at the present minister of power awards. The recent one that was awarded, look at the Lagos. They got about 3. He knows his own, he knows his place. And yet, when you have the opportunity to do it, now you are not clamoring that somebody should come and do it. The man is coming from somewhere.
So what is your take?
So
what's your take on this issue of restructuring? Because that seems to be the business of
restructuring should be defined.
Define what is your own
What's your own definition?
What I'm saying is this, yes. If the regions are saying, okay, we want to see that what we produce, let us spend it and give some to the federal government. I agree that there's too much power in the center. We need to reduce the power so that the states can be viable. Okay. And restructuring at the local government level. The governors must give autonomy to the local government. We actually see our government autonomy. Local government are the upstream of the governors. They dictate whatever they do. They don't do election. There are some states in this country that have never conducted local government election. So we should restructure this so that everybody will be on their own. If the federal government is on its own, the state government should be on its own, then the local government should be on its own. If any of this government is not performing, let the people speak. Not somebody holding one as his own baby and strongly strangulating the person. Then the other one there at the top, give whatever he feel he can give to the state and the local government will double. So on that ground, I support restructuring. Economic restructuring, financial restructuring, dependency. Then let us develop our area at our own pace. Okay. Then the federal government can be in charge of security and so on. Because the issue of state policing, we cannot trust our governors. Because if we give it to them, it becomes another group of thugs. Those who are in power will use it against
their opponents.
That is the truth. Because we are not mature in our mind. We are so wicked. Nigerians believe that only me can gather the way, even those who call the men of God and the so-called men. Everybody is just fighting for his own pocket, interest. And that is why we have found ourselves in this place. Okay. So if we cannot fix, if I've been voted into power in my area, and the road lead to my father's house and refuse to do it, then tomorrow somebody else come in, and my father will not say, come and do my road. When you're picking, why you not say me a contour? So when Osaro Baza was walking around second, people were complaining. And I said, why we not complain? That is where he was born and brought up. So they can move to that place freely. And the people were applauding because he fixed road in those areas. Let us learn to do things for our people. Some of these people have money that they can, personal money that can also build road. Personal money, and it's kept somewhere.
Okay. Pastor Collins, final thoughts on this?
I believe, I was with a group of people outside this country and we were looking at, Nigeria's multifarious problems. And I said to them, okay, now, we all are talking about Nigeria's problems. Why can't we look at what can we do to fix the country? Because it is not as if the problems are insurmountable. All right. I think that one of the things that has worked against us is truly the fact that we are all a selfish people that think for ourselves alone. But this is where it works. I'm thinking that if we would begin with enforcement, making sure that the laws that have been made are enforced, Nigeria will begin to work for us. Starting from driving on the road, somebody called me just now and said to me, there are people on the road checking for papers. So are you on the road? And I said, why not? Oh, he said, nobody has correct papers. I said, I'm sorry, I have correct papers. All right, I'm not going to be begging anybody. I have correct papers in the car. Now, if you have these people who only, these people now say they're going to be there for just 2 weeks. So some people have packed their cars and go public transport. Why should they come out for 2 weeks? Why shouldn't they be there permanently?
Well, I spoke with the executive director this morning. He didn't say 2 weeks. He said they don't know where they are going to stop.
Yes, so why should they even talk about a period when they should be there? Yeah. They should be there permanently, checking people and then enforcing the laws that state that you must have adequate papers for your car. Your brakes must be in order and all of that. Now, if this is enforced, we are going to have less accidents on the road. We are going to have more revenue for the government. Why are we not doing this on a regular basis and making sure that without fear or favor, ill will or goodwill, face the law as it has been stated and implement it. And then you're going to find that if this runs through the entire gamut of our country, things will improve. Yeah. Things will get better. But you know, it's terrible. It's terrible. What I think about, you know, the different problems of this country, it's mind-boggling. I believe that if we would restructure and, you know, bring the government closer to the people and make the government more accountable to people, we'll have a better country.
Thank you very much. Get a final word on this.
I support restructuring when it's defined, and it shouldn't be a situation where some persons feel it's our turn now. Let us hold it. Those of us here, if we are in charge of the oil, we sell, we give to the federal government, and we fix our road. I said, no more federal road. I thought the road will be the responsibility of the state government.
And maybe local government, yeah.
And the local government should be given autonomy.
Okay.
It should be a separate government from the state government. When money comes, the money goes directly to them, and let them do their work. Okay. If they're not doing their work, let the people cry. Not somebody saying, I want to monitor them. In the name of monitoring, you are strangulating them. Yeah. We will not move forward. The local government is the closest government to the people. Okay. I can walk to my local government headquarters now and say, I need this and I can't go to the state government. So on that note, I will support restructuring so that everybody will be dependent and Nigeria will move in a better direction.
All right, thank you. Irrespective of the positions canvassed by our panelists, eventually we're on the same page, which is on restructuring. That's the reason Independent Television and Radio is putting together the pre-57th Independence Anniversary Lecture coming up on the 28th of September 2017 at Elora Royal Hall and Suites. And of course, on Friday, we have Festival of Comedy, Music and Dance at the same Elora. And then on October 1st, that's the grand finale of all of the celebration because Nigeria will be 57. And then we have Independence of Wewe in Glass House. We have some of our partners that will be joining us live in the studio to talk more about all of these in a moment. But we'll take a short break. We'll be back with you with the rest of the show. Pastor Collins, many thanks for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Harrison.
Thank you.
Okay, sit here, man. We'll continue in a moment. Stay with us.